Daniel Nagridge is very grateful his wife kept on him to get his snoring checked out. They both thought he had sleep apnea and the snoring problem would be easily solved. But his case was much more complicated than that.
It wasn't like a nice snore or even a loud snore. It was loud and angry.
Nancy Nagridge quickly recalls how her husband Daniel sounded in his sleep. He never snored before.
It also sounded like he was choking sometimes. He couldn't hear himself. I could. And it scared me a little bit.
My wife telling me, you really need, let's go get this checked out, what's going on.
Daniel saw his doctor, who referred him to a specialist after something didn't look right.
This was all tumor back here.
That specialist ultimately ordered an MRI, revealing a frightening diagnosis.
When you hear that it's cancer, that really kind of shocks you into place of, wow, that's not what I was expecting at all.
The cancer in Daniel's neck is called a chordoma. They grow slowly and they're extremely rare, affecting about 1 in a million people. Dr. Aaron McKean is the ear, nose, throat specialist at the University of Michigan who treated him.
In Daniel, the cancer started down in the cervical spine. He was snoring because of the chordoma growth, the tumor growth at the back of his throat and the back of his nose.
And it's a good thing he listened to his wife and the tumor was discovered when it was.
If he kept ignoring this, there's a good chance that if it grew backwards towards the spinal column, it could have paralyzed him. If it grew up towards the brain stem and the back of the eye, it could have caused him double vision. And if it grew towards the front into his airway, he could have died in his sleep or had a problem where he couldn't breathe and either died or needed that urgent surgical airway.
Dr. McKean says while checking to make sure the cancer hadn't spread, they found a separate tumor in his thyroid. A team of doctors worked with Daniel to come up with a treatment plan.
The first surgery was to remove my thyroid, which had some cancer in it as well, and do a tracheotomy, which prepped me for the next 2 surgeries, which removed the chordoma over 2 different surgeries. This all took place in 1 week.
Doctors then followed up with radiation treatment.
We're going to look in his nose.
Earlier this week, when Daniel had his follow-up appointment, Dr. McKean used a special camera to reevaluate the area where his tumor was.
And there's some swelling here from having had surgery and radiation, but the tumor's gone. I treat a lot of cancers, and I like to see wins when we can. And he's doing fantastic.
Daniel has to be monitored because the chordoma could return. There is no cure for this rare cancer, but after it was removed, some of the cancer went to U of M researchers who are growing cells from it.
And those cell lines are incredibly important for doing research and studying if there are new potential chemotherapy targets, new treatments, or figuring out what causes this cancer.
Daniel is now cancer-free and free from snoring. He's thankful for the team who helped him and especially for his wife for bugging him to get his snoring checked out.
Oh, absolutely eternally grateful, both for that and the way she has supported and been with me through this whole process.
I don't feel vindicated at all. I just feel happy that, he got it taken care of finally.
So I want to point out, if you snore, that does not mean that you have something as serious or rare as Daniel, but you should get it checked out. In fact, anytime that you experience changes with your body or something just doesn't feel right, it's best to find out what it could be.